Hi, I'm Pagara12, and today we play with this abacus like something. And we can go very dense with this, and yeah, everything run very smooth. The maximum being 181. And yeah, we use instances, and there can be circles or cubes or rectangles. So let's start this from scratch. And this is actually a couple of operators more than this UV partition or this elastic grid. Okay. However, today we'll do it from scratch and maybe a little bit faster. So what we need is a constant chop, and let's set here. Let's set the resolution 1280 and the grid, let's go with 16 for now. And so let's have a noise stop. Okay, nearest pixels. Okay. And we good. Instead of 8 bits, let's go with 32 mono. Okay, now the difference between elastic grid or UV partitions is on each row here in this texture. Right now we have different values, and obviously if we play this noise by ABS time, whatever, all the values getting either bigger or smaller and so on. And we would like couple of pixels to have a fixed size, right? So actually to have them squares, right? And for this we only have to take care on the x values, either for position or for the scale, as on y we keep a consistency for each row, and so the height would be 1 divided by the grid, and for position on y we only need a ramp. So yeah, let's have a null here. Okay, and make a folder. So select this and yeah, click outside, collapse selected, and let's name this scale. Okay, and let's see what we need. So if we want couple of them being, let's say, solid, okay, then I will use this component right here, scatter points, and I'll go with the input to have the same resolution. So now I'm 16 by 16, and this tool, it allows me to set a spread of points on different density in this texture. I can go fully white or like this. So let's have here 0.1625. Yeah, this should be good. So white pixels are solid. Okay, so that means their width has to be the same with the height. Okay, and this is actually, let's use a mod here. We can multiply this. Just a second to open the door for my dog. Okay, sorry about it. So we multiply this with the value we want. So let me open this window here. Okay, let's go inside, and we use this grid value here, and we say 1 divided by. And so now we have couple of pixels which are all the same value, and I would like to over this above some other texture, and right now it's mono, so I would need transparency. So let's go with reorder, Okay, and I'll take this texture for so input 2 here, and I'll take red, and this, let's set this to 1 second, so 32 mono plus alpha. Okay, let's have this also nearest pixels. So okay, now let's see the other values. The other values should behave similar with the previous tutorials, elastic grid or UV partitions. So yeah, in order to mark them, we need a level here. Okay, and we go invert. Okay, now where I have white here, I need to have those values. So I multiply this with this input. Okay, and you see where I have black, it's 0, but then I'll have this over, so everything would be good. Right now I need to force those values on each row to be not 1, but instead 1 minus the number of the solids. So on the row above we have three pieces with a fixed width, and 13, all the others, black ones, can have whatever values. The condition here is, if I sum the values for the black ones, it has to be not 1, but instead 1 minus 3 times these pixels. Okay, this width of this pixel. So in order to do that, first we normalize the sum to 1, and then we multiply with the value we need. So let's go with the analyze here. Okay, and we go with sum, we take the rows, and now composite with divide, and we go for transform, fixed layer input 1. Okay, and now if I check the sum right now, let me show you. So we use an analyze and sum and rows, and let's see what values we have here. So first top 2, we only take red. Okay, and we go with full image, so each row is 1. Okay, now there has to be 1 minus something. Okay, and that something, it's very easy to find it. If we use an analyze here, we go with average, and we take the rows like this, and now we multiply with this comp. Okay, let me make this nearest pixels. Okay, we don't need this. Now above this texture, I would like to have this one over. So I use a composite, and we go with over. So okay, so we have the scales on X. Okay, on Y it's we have the same value as yeah, each row would be fixed in height. So we can go with this in out 1, and let's have a texture, as this is mono. Okay, let's have one which is RG, and use it for instances scale RG. So yeah, let's have a constant. I'll connect this input to my composition in order to have the same resolution, also the same format. And now let's set this to 0. And actually here for red value, we need to say 1 divided by the grid. And this would be the values for all the y's, all the y for all instances. And now we go with reorder like this, and we take input 2 for the green, and this has to be 32 RG. Okay, let's go with nearest pixels. Good. So, oh, we don't, let's have an out here also. Okay, and now this second out, we have a null, and this is scale. Okay, we will use this for instancing. Okay, and right now out of here where I have the scales on X, I need to use that formula which we make it in kissing spheres, and it needs some rearrange of the texture, also that 0, 1 diagonal. And yeah, let's make a folder here. And this folder, let's name this position. Okay, now if we go inside, so first we need to make this texture, so use a fit. Okay, we need to stretch this texture and form for each of the rows, form a rectangle. So this fit is 16 for the X, and 16 multiply with 16. So I'll use multiply 2, which means power of 2. So okay, and we go with fill. If we get closer, yeah, we have some columns, and each column has the value. And here is where we need that diagonal. And so in previous tutorials, we shaped that diagonal with ramp, radial, and round, but since the Mac users get that error, we'll make it a little bit different. So we covered this in a tier 1 tutorial, 0, 1 diagonal. So yeah, let's have a null here, and click outside collapse selected, and let's name this diagonal. Let's go inside. Yeah, we don't use this null. We take a constant. Okay, and let's use this resolution and 32 mono. Now we have a transform, and we translate 1 pixel above everything. Okay, so we have a nice line at the bottom, and now we use another transform, and we rotate with 45 degrees. Let's set nearest pixels also, and in tab 2 tile we go with hold. So in tab 1 pivot it's 0, 0, and yeah, we drag this 16 for the pivots, and we say 1 divided by, and also divided by 2. Okay, so I can copy this and paste here. Okay, so we have this diagonal now, and we use an out, and yeah. So now for this diagonal, I need to stretch it also, not stretch, but make a texture long as this one right here. So in order to have that, we use a group, and let me set nearest pixels. And here we drag the grid value for the group. Okay, now we good. And let's multiply those two like this. Okay, and now here we use analyze and take the sum for the rows. Okay, now here we have some ramps lines, and so we want to have those on a being horizontal, one above each other. So for having this, we use in point cloud here in the palette, we point repack. Okay, so for the repack we go with 16 by 16. So this is looking like a broken ramp, and that is because some position would be different from rows to rows. So yeah, it also means that we are good. So okay, now we need to add this with half of this input texture. So we use a math here like this. We take half of it, 1 divided by 2. Let me have nearest pixels, and we go in add. Okay. So maybe not a null, instead we go with out. Okay, and let's have the same with the previous folder, previous container, and yeah, here would be the position for the X, but position for the Y, if all the rows are equal in a value, then we can have a ramp. So we use a ramp and connect to the add operator to get the same format and resolution. Okay, this ramp should be vertical. Okay, and now let's use a reorder like this, and yeah, nearest pixels, and the reorder takes input 2 for the green, and this should be 32 RG. And let's have an out. Okay, now here null, and this is position. Okay, we make this ping for instances. Okay, and now let's have a rectangle SOP like this, not top, rectangle SOP. Okay, let's go with this into a geometry component for which we want instancing, and so we take position and go with RNG, and for the scale we take this RNG. Okay, now let me split the screen a little bit like this, and now if I hit W to see wireframe. Okay, so I have something like this. Maybe it's hard to see. Some of them are squares, so they stay like this, even though I'll move this noise with ABS time dot seconds divided by 16. Okay, now you see some of them gets out, and this is because here in scale, let's have a mat here, not a mat, sorry, a limit. So I use a noise with offset 0.5 and amplitude 0.5. That means most of the values are in between 0.1, but sometimes they go above and below. So I want to force them stay in the 0.1 interval. So we go with clamp here. Okay, now we also connect this here. So now they will be fixed with it. Okay. And to better see the colors, okay, we use an UV component. We don't do it from scratch this time, so we use this UV. We take the grid for the resolution. Oh, let me, no. Okay, like this. And we want to mark with black everything that is not fixed. Okay, so that means we can use this scatter points texture, and let's go with it in another out. Okay, like this. And I know if I multiply this now with my 16 by 16 UV, so I can either name this UV or color. So we use a null, and yeah, let's say color. Okay, sorry, and let's make this pink. And now I'll have this for the color on instance 2 page R, G, and B. And now I hit W again. So yeah, we have this. Let's have a render. So render, we need also a camera. And for the camera, we go with orthographic, bottom left, and ortho with it 1. And we also need a material, so we go with a constant, like this. Okay, and let's use the resolution for our render. Okay. Now I'll have a null here, and let's have a look on this null, not here, so display. Okay, instead we have this here. Okay, let's check if everything is good. So if we go 64, okay, so yeah, we're good. Let's stay on 16 for now. I would like to have an edge, okay, and if I use this texture and go into edge, let me use a matte and go with the ceiling. Okay, now sometimes you'll get some lines missing, like here, you see, and that is because the colors are very similar maybe, and you can make an edge if you insert a noise here based on this, and you go with a period very small, and so the values, neighbor values, would be different, and maybe the edge would be much precise. What I like to do instead is have another geometry. Okay, and I don't need for this, I don't need the material. It's good if this is black. Okay, or yeah, maybe I need a constant, and I'll set this to black, and I go here and go with topology. Okay, let's go with this, and I can use a render pass, and I'll grab this geometry here. So I have here, this render is Geo1. Okay, like this. And for the render pass, I'll take the render top. Okay. And deep pill. And we have nice black lines right now. And we can go over with this. Okay. Now this is good, and If you want to build fully detailed UV with this one, you can have a look at UV this tutorial, UV partitions. And but in this one we only set some colors. Okay, so let's have a noise. Okay, I will use the same resolution. Okay, and this is 32 RGB, not monochrome. Okay, if I connect this render to the second input for the noise, I'll have my colors. Okay, now if I go like this, I will have this ugly red background, and yeah, I don't really want that. So let's find out with a matte here. Okay, we go square, add. You notice we don't go for fully Pythagora. Okay, right here we don't use root, and root is quite heavy to compute, and it's good when you don't need it to not have it. So I only want to check where I have values different from 0. Okay, and yeah, this texture, let's mask the alpha and take 32 mono. Okay, and now with the matte we can go ceiling. Okay, now sometimes those values are getting bigger than 1. Sometimes I don't believe it is the case right now, as yeah, we need we use UV colors, and the UV is in between 0 1, and so, but yeah, just to be sure, you can have a limit also, and clamp this like that, or with a level. And now we multiply like this. And now it's much better, right? And we can also have here a circle. So circle SOP, and let's have a switch. Like this. And yeah, let's take care. The radius has to be 0.5, so the width of the circle is 1, equal with the rectangle. Okay, and now we change here the switch to 1, and yeah, we have circles, and this is looking more like an abacus. And now we can go 64. Okay, and yeah, in this case we don't really need the edge. Okay, you see how not fixed instances, they are stretched, they are sized. Okay, because they are getting different size from this folder here. Okay, and I said if we use circles, we don't really need really need edge. Okay, this texture. Okay, now you see we have some spooky edges. Okay, and this is because of the anti-alias, I hope. Okay, now we good. So yeah, and now if we play here in the scale, if we play with this tool, okay, we can have just a couple of them, or we can have much denser. You notice? Let's have a look on a bottom row here. Okay, so right where I have my mouse, there are it's a block with solid pixels. Okay, if you notice here in the render, each time we have such a solid block, the instances stays together, okay? And this is because we don't have a pixel in between to get values. So in order to have that, we can easily modify this a little bit. Let me have a null here. So we do like this. And instead of scatter points, let's go with something much easier with checker. Okay, and for the checker we go with you see in the checker, one pixel is solid, the other one it's empty. So that means we can have we can get rid of any cluster. So at the moment, the pixels are more free to move. So let's go with this resolution and drag this grid for the horizontal and for the vertical, and we split by 2. We divide by 2 here in order to have a nice checker. Okay. Now, having in mind using this checker, if you go with a resolution not an even number, an odd number like 65, you'll have some mirroring in the middle, which is not necessarily nice, but yeah, we go with nice numbers, so everything is solved. Okay, now what if I connect this instead? You see, from the beginning, they have more space in between, and sometimes they form clusters, and sometimes not. You can even multiply those two like this, and have a yeah, maybe different situation. Okay, and for the noise, you can go how you want. Let me switch to squares. Okay, for which case we need the edge, and we go like this. And yeah, maybe this noise is having the colors uniformly distributed, but I would like to have the colors more like vertical lines. Okay, so we can go inside, and on Y we set this to 0, 1, and on X we set this to 3, 2, 6, 5 maybe. Yeah, so the colors are much much better now, I would say. Okay, and yeah, let's go. I said that the maximum values it's 181, but this is only if you have commercial license. Because let me go with 182. If we go like this, the image gets broken. And why is this? Because at one moment we will need here, not here, let me check on where we have this, right, this diagonal. We'll get we have the diagonal for every cell, square cells, okay, to combine with the texture above, and this is already 32,768, which is maximum for a texture in TouchDesigner. Okay, now if you don't have commercial license, you can't get bigger than 1280, and that means the biggest value it's somewhere close to 32 and maybe 33, 34, I don't know. So yeah, have this in mind. So yeah, the moment we go 181. Oh, what happened? Okay, so it's something wrong, and I know this error. I can't really figure it out right now, but somewhere it's missing an nearest pixels. So yeah, the file you'll have next to the tutorial will be smooth regard this behavior when you go bigger. So yeah, this was my tutorial. I really hope you like this, and thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next one. Bye.